Hello, I am Miriam Miley and I am a sexual assault peer educator for the Office of Student Integrity and Conduct, also known as OSIC. You are participating in our virtual classroom education project about sexual assault, alcohol, and how the two relate to college students. As sexual assault peer educators, also known as SAPE, our goals include to educate Nova Alexandria students about sexual misconduct specifically pertaining to college students, as well as how we can all contribute to preventing sexual misconduct incidences through educating and reporting, and to help our peers grow and develop as student leaders. Today we will be covering a lot of topics to include sexual assault, consent, how alcohol and sexual assaults intertwine, and how to report, should you have related concerns. The benefit to addressing these topics, including in your classroom, is to reach a large number of students, which should increase institutional response, decrease in student dropout rates as victims will feel that there is a strong support program, increase of academic performance, and lastly, contributing to a safe campus. Did you know that most sexual assault cases on campus go unreported? Did you know that most victims of sexual assault on college campuses simply drop out of school rather than to hold the perpetrator accountable? Remember, for this presentation, you will need to register an account for Nearpod. Please take the time to do that now by following the Nearpod sign-on instructions provided by your professor. By registering for your Nearpod account, you will be able to interactively participate from your mobile device, and we will be able to interact with you remotely. Please answer the following question from your Nearpod account on your mobile device. What do you consider to be sexual misconduct? What does it include? Please take some time to respond to this question, and when you are ready, you can move on to the next slide. Your answers will be seen by us, the presenters. There are 5 topics commonly associated with sexual misconduct cases. These topics include stalking, sexual harassment, dating violence, domestic violence, and sexual violence, also known as sexual assault. The first of these topics that we will be addressing today is stalking. Targeting a particular person in a way that would cause that person to feel fear. This is very important because when there is an absence of fear, it would not be considered as stalking. To better understand if you or your friends are being stalked, simply ask, are you afraid of what that person might do? The next topic that we will be focusing on is sexual harassment. It includes, but is not limited to, touching, specifically inappropriate touching. The definition of sexual harassment that you see on this slide can be found in Nova's Student Handbook. Dating violence is the next topic under sexual misconduct. Dating violence is defined as any abuse perpetrated by a current or a former partner. Just because you are dating someone does not justify any sort of violence. Similar to dating violence, domestic violence is any violent or aggressive behavior within the home by a partner when living together. Again, because you are in a relationship, or more specifically in this case, if you are living together, does not justify any sort of violence. Sexual violence is what we will be focusing on today. However, before talking about sexual violence, we must first explain consent, because consent and sexual violence are connected. Rape, sexual assault, sexual battery, and sexual coercion fall under sexual violence. Also note that the key element here is consent. On your device, you will be able to answer the second open-ended question. What do you think is consent? How would you define it? Please take some time to respond to this question, and when you are ready, you can move on to the next slide. Consent. To give permission for something to happen. To agree to do something or allow something. Consent is a voluntary agreement to engage in every step of sexual activity. The key concept here is to give and receive verbal permission. An example of what consent is a verbal yes without pressure. So the person was not pressured to saying yes. Another example of what consent is sober sexual activity. So they know what they're getting into with a sober mind. Another example is consciousness of pursuit. So that you are conscious in what you're about to partake in. And another example is the knowledge of the ability to change your mind at any time, meaning that you are allowed to change your mind at any time of the activity. Here is a video made by the YouTuber Lacey Green. She talks about consent. You will be able to view this video on your mobile device. Simply press the play button in the middle of your screen. Once you have finished watching the video, you may move on. So here are some facts about sexual assault. It is always intentional, meaning it is always planned. It typically occurs by someone that you know. So most of the time it's not by a stranger, it's someone that you know. So you must be careful. Women are most susceptible, and alcohol is used as the #1 weapon. And we're going to be talking a bit more about alcohol and sexual assault. As you can see in the picture, here are a couple statistics on alcohol and sexual assault. Once you have read through these, you may move on. Here is a fact: 75% of male students and 55% of female students involved in sexual assaults had been drinking or using drugs. 90% of all campus rapes occur when alcohol has been used by either the assailant or the victim. 6% of males will be victims of sexual assault in their first year of college. So this is not only a woman's issue. Less than 5% of college women report incidences of rape to the police. This is a statistic that we want to change. Unreported incidents go unaddressed, leaving the perpetrator opportunity to assault again, and that's what we are trying to avoid. So here is a question where we want to know what you think. How many girls do you think get sexually assaulted in their first year of college? The answer is 1 in 5 college-age women will be assaulted in her first year. So here are some tips. Know the people that you party with well. You want to be familiar with them. You want to be able to trust them. Limit the amount of alcohol that you consume. Always have at least one person that you trust with you at all times, and be an effective bystander. How to be an effective bystander. If any of you are wondering what bystanders are, they are individuals that witness key aspects of the actual assault. Here we have a video that shows how bystanders act. Think about how you would act as a bystander in an incident like this. Press play from your mobile device to view the video. We will be going over some myths and facts. On your device, you'll be able to access the poll questions. Please take some time to respond to the poll questions, and when you are ready, you can move on to the next slide. So, what can you do if you or someone that you know is a victim of sexual assault? The Nova Cares report allows you to stay anonymous or to include your name when you report incidences not limited to sexual misconduct at Nova. There is a student conduct process for those involved in sexual assault cases here on campus. While it does require some of your time, it is an effective and fair process. The process begins when a report about sexual assault on or off campus occurs. A preliminary meeting is held with the campus administrator to identify incident details and provide the necessary support. Then, an informal hearing is scheduled for the reported person where that individual can either accept or not accept responsibility. If you, the reported individual, accept responsibility, then they will be sanctioned and they can move on. On the other hand, if no one accepts responsibility, then the case will be moved to a formal hearing process involving audio recording with either one administrator who has decision-making powers or by a panel of individuals assigned to make a decision about the case. Sexual assaults are taken very seriously, and so sanctions, including dismissal from college, are always implemented. We do not want the victim to leave. Instead, we want him or her to feel safe again. Here are some possible consequences of sexual assaults on the Nova Alexandria campus. Possible action can include notation of sexual assault on your transcript, and a possible sanction, for example, could include community service. These are not all of the possible sanctions that Nova offers. These are only some of them. If you want to view all possible sanctions, you can view them on Nova's Student Handbook. We have a great variety of resources that you can use at Nova. What are some college resources that you think that you can use for sexual assaults? These sources include support from Title IX and Clery offices for investigation purposes. Title IX serves as a way to make sure that sexual misconduct cases are dealt with appropriately. The Clery Act was created after a girl was brutally killed. Her parents said that if they had known about the crime statistics at this college, they would not have sent her to attend college there. As a result, the Clery Act was created so that people would be able to see the types of crimes and frequency of crimes at a college. Please take note of the contact information viewed on the slide. Another college resource is us, peer educators. We work with Student Integrity and Conduct, OSIC. You can visit us in AA 194P Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can call us at 703-933-1854 or email us at sape@nvcc.edu. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at o.s.i.c. Please know that we are not counselors. However, we are considered to be walking resources for you. We can get you connected to the services that you are seeking. Another college resource is Campus Police. Please write down their contact information. If you need them, they will respond quickly. You can download the LiveSafe app to have more direct access to them and the safety services that they offer. We have acknowledged SAS, Sexual Assault Services, more than once, and there they are again. They were created to support the survivor or victims of an incident. The number displayed on the slide is a number that will be available 24/7. The Office of Student Integrity and Conduct also provides support to those accused of sexual assault. The following video will show you how you can access the Nova Cares report and to report an incident of sexual assault. Let's review. Let's go over some topics that we have touched on today. Sexual assault is any sexual activity that is perpetrated against someone's will without explicit consent of the individual. What is the most interesting thing that you have learned today? When you are finished answering this question, please move on. What is something new that you have learned today? When you are finished answering this question, you may move on. Name 3 facts that you have learned in the presentation. When you are finished answering this question, please move on. Here are some of the resources that we have used throughout our presentation. Thank you for participating in our virtual sexual assault classroom series. If you have any questions, please let us know. Please look for our upcoming programs. We plan at least one each month. Ask your professor about extra credit opportunities if you attend one of our workshops.